I've stumbled across various different furries on this journey so far, but never in my life have I stumbled upon something quite like this. Meet the One Legged Bandit, a Scottish TikToker who tragically lost his leg to an unfortunate means.
The words, "you have cancer," are some of the words that no human ever wants to hear. One day I was an ordinary school student, the next I had 3 different types of chemo going through me, an immunotherapy drug, intensive surgeries, and it was just overall an awful year altogether, but it didn't stop me from wanting to do what I wanted in life.
Now this isn't to say that there aren't furries out there with their own disabilities. What makes this guy stand out, figuratively speaking, is that he was able to take his negative and turn it around into a positive. By creating TikToks in regards to his life story and amputation through the use of education and crude humor.
Sir, will you please stop staring at me?
Where's the rest of you?
And I do things a little bit different. I like to tell jokes because if you do not laugh, you will cry. And I am a firm believer in the fact that we should not be afraid of cancer, it should be afraid of us.
Becoming a rising moderate TikToker in a span of 3 weeks. Now what makes this guy really unique is that he's able to walk around on one leg, which, to be honest, I didn't even think was physically possible. Hey, how's it going, man?
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
You're good, dude, you're good. Alright, Bandit, you ready?
Yep.
Whoa, that was smooth as hell. Okay, if you want to hop right on over there, we'll get started. You alright?
Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes the toes cramp up before the foot does.
So how long are you able to stand like that?
It does depend on like what I've been doing throughout the day. Like if I'm just freestanding like this, I can do it for like maybe like an hour. But if I'm on like the crutches for like a long distance, I can long distance for like 5 or 6 hours because like last week I was in America and I had to go all around the place, like to the zoo, to the aquarium, all the way downtown, and I was on my crutches the whole time there, just hopping around, and we did that for like the whole day, and I was perfectly fine. I actually start breaking down physically, like I get like blisters on my hands and whatever first before I get tired. So it's mostly that's what stops me from going.
That's pretty much how you get around, just hop around?
Yeah, basically, just like if it's just about my room, I'd just be like, just hop around.
Do you use a prosthetic leg?
I don't use a prosthetic. No, I do have one. Don't get me wrong, I do have one. It's sitting right over there, but it's just like this is like 2 scale, and I'm quite a tall fella, so there's a lot of heavy leg to like swing forward in that. It's like playing the old Resident Evil games on tank controls. I can only go one direction and then like pivot. So it's not fun. It's very tiring, and it's a little better and more freeing to do this.
So what are some everyday problems for someone with one leg?
Everyday problems. Carrying things. When you carry things when you're normally walking, you're at like a static angle when you're carrying the bags. It's always at the same level because you're walking straight and you're walking on the same playing field, so to speak. Because I'm technically jumping when I carry stuff, that makes the things come with me. So if I'm carrying something on a bag, or if I'm like carrying like a bowl through to my room to eat, I've got to be like so astronomically careful I don't spill anything or make things fall out of the bag, because obviously like it's jumping with me, so carrying things around is quite annoying, but I can do it. It's just it takes a little bit more effort.
Are you able to climb stairs?
Yep, I just hop up them, although those are tiring. That's a workout on the calf as a stairmaster.
Wow, that leg must be built like a tank.
It's a solid boy. It's doing a lot of work for a one-man job when it's a 2-man job.
Oh, jeez. I feel like the kid in public meeting a blind guy for the first time asking inappropriate questions. And just so y'all are aware, whenever I start one of these, I always give my guests the option to skip a question they may find uncomfortable. So he's answering all of these questions on his own accord. Do you often get a lot of looks from public by hopping around?
Oh my god, all the time, especially kids. Kids have literally walked into fucking, like, you know how you get the displays in supermarkets? Kids have literally walked into those because they're just so bewildered by someone who's hopping on one leg. It's so funny. My exes in the past have been like so annoyed by it, and they always say like, oh my god, why is he looking? Why are they looking? And I'm just like, it's something no one ever sees. Of course they're going to be bewildered and look at it. I don't mind it at all. I'm quite an extroverted and I love talking to people, so whenever someone asks, I am more than happy just to answer and reply.
How often do you get phantom pain?
Yeah, because there's a big difference that I like to tell people about this game, especially when it is like I am someone that has like an amputation, is that phantom sense in this game is like obviously the feeling you get when someone touches you in this game, and you kind of feel the tingles in real life. But phantom pain is like a real life thing where like your brain is tricked into thinking a leg is still there, and it tries to reactivate it through like sending electrical impulses through your nerve. And because the nerve is obviously not there, it all gets trapped at the end of the nerve that's in the residual limb, and it just feels like an explosion of pain. It's a constant occurrence. So I'm always feeling pins and needles in my phantom limb. Like that, like when you lean on your arm for too long and it starts to go numb, that feeling is an all-time feeling. It's only when I take the medicine is when it starts to dampen down. So it's quite annoying because it is an all-day thing. Is the best way I describe my phantom pain. It is different for everyone, but that's the way my phantom pain does, and I do get it. It's an everyday thing. I take some pretty strong, what are they called? It's gabapentin. It's like a nerve painkiller sort of thing.
So what are your hobbies?
You're looking at it, really. I play a lot of VR, play a lot of games, especially first-person shooters. I'm a big fan of doing that. My favourite being Valorant because I like clicking heads. Behind this one, of course. I've also got my hands in some other areas of content creation apart from just the whole VR TikTok thing. The VR TikTok was actually just meant to be a little pet project that I did on the side because I have a main one elsewhere that I do in sort of like IRL, but that is a secret for later.
So how did you get into making TikToks?
Truth be told, it was my girlfriend. She was like, oh, you should make TikToks doing your VR stuff. And I was like, that sounds like a brilliant idea, let's have a go. And the literal first TikTok I uploaded, it just went from there. The reception I got from that first one was amazing. It just made me want to snowball effect into doing more and more content, and it's been really fun. It's mostly been a solo job for now, but my girlfriend and my good friend Jinxie, who are the little Riolos that you see in all my videos, they are honestly the rock behind the production because they help me with ideas, they help me with writing, they help me with storyboarding, and just moral support in general. I could not ask for a better friends. It's a creative drive that I've wanted to feel for a long time that I haven't truly gotten to express.
So how did you become a furry?
That is the biggest question that I don't have a solid answer for. Maybe it was like when I was about 12, my friend was just like drawing like what at that time was his persona. And I was like, oh, what's that? And he was like, oh, it's just a character that I use. I was like, so you drew that? And I was so like bewildered by it, I was like, I kind of want to be that. So I was like, I didn't plagiarize his idea. I was like, that's like fucking cool. And then it was the whole finding out that everyone else finds it absolutely weird, except for the people that are like in it. So for like, I'm 24 now, for like the next 12 years I've just not said a word to anyone and just kind of enjoyed it from the sideline. And it wasn't until I got into VR where I was like, fuck it, who cares what anyone thinks? I like this is me. I want to have fun. There's not quite as much of a grounded community as the furry community because we're all in this together and we all have the same experiences in some way or another.
Is it difficult to find a job for someone with your disability?
Yes, because even though companies aren't meant to discriminate against like hiring disabled people, unless it's in like an office setting, they're gonna pick the able-bodied person all the time. But I mean, like, my first ever job was at PlayStation support. I left after 6 months because the people that you speak to are just... Anyone that works in customer service knows you get treated like absolute shit, and I was just a naive little 18-year-old, and I was like, no, I do not want to be shouted at every single day. And it's about PlayStation. It's not like you're phoning up like a hospital helpline where people genuinely need help. People are getting angry because they accidentally scrubbed out the serial number on their PlayStation and they can't get a refund when they've had it for 2 years. And the best one I've ever had was that a guy literally got mad at me because he phoned up and he was like, where can I buy insulating tape? And when I said, I don't know, he got raging at me. Insulating tape? I still don't know what that fucking is.
So would you like to tell your story?
About what?
About what? Bro, you're missing a leg!
Oh, about the leg. Okay, right, yes. It was around about December time. I had fallen over. And like a... Not like a freak accident. I'd like just tripped over the gravel. And cut my leg. Which had disguised the fact that there was a tumour growing. So we just thought it was just fluid build-up. Until I started to get really, really bad pain. Like, I mean, like, agonising pain, crying myself to sleep. I was, like, applying Nurofen, ibuprofen rub onto it. Nothing. I had, like, the... You know, like, those constraints that you put around sore muscles? I had 2 of them on at once, and it was just making it worse, because obviously, I just thought it was fluid. I never knew it was a fucking tumour. Until we decided to go to the doctors, and let me tell you, when they order an ultrasound, an x-ray, and an MRI all in the same hour, there's not something good. So when I was 15, I got diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a bone cancer, and I had it in my knee area, and it was a tumour about the size of a fucking rugby ball. This thing was massive, and that's exactly how it happened. A week later, I went from being a normal school student to being in a bed having intensive chemotherapy. They attempted to save the leg by replacing all the bone in my leg with titanium prosthetic. It did not work. And when I was 18, I decided, hey, this isn't working. I'm not being able to walk since I was 15 years old. I want the leg chopped off. Because it was starting to deteriorate in ways where I would literally be standing up like I was now, and the toes would turn black because there was no blood circulation. And 2 weeks later, they agreed, and it was off. But unless I said something to the doctors, they weren't going to do anything about it. It's free healthcare here. They've got way more things to worry about than something that's already been done. And from there, it's been smooth sailing. I've been living my best life.
So what stage was it at when they found out?
I never got told it.
Nope.
It's weird. I've always heard the Americans being told what stage they're at, but whenever I've asked someone in the UK, they're like, I don't know.
If you could give advice to someone going through a similar situation as yours, what would it be?
If you're just starting like your cancer journey and you're going through chemotherapy and all that, what I found was best for me was just to sleep through it all. They give you enough pain meds to make that happen. Just sleep. It's a time skip. Do that and it'll be over before you know it. If you're thinking about like an amputee, do your physiotherapy, because the last thing you want is tight muscles in your limb, because then you cannot do a thing.
Do you ever have any regrets?
Absolutely not. If I had that leg today, I'd be dead. I've not been happier. I've been in so much less pain. And I'm 24 now. I'm able to hop around wherever I want. I've got a car I can drive. I can fly out to meet friends in other countries. It's like, some say the worst thing has to happen to you to get the best. And I truly believe that. Like, you don't know the best until you've had the worst. So yeah, no regrets.